to do right now. And I just wanna wait to get some feedback from you guys on how the audio quality is, if we are sounding good, or we need to do something about it. And in this video, we are going to talk about the specific rebuild parts. And that's a big problem. That's something that I want to talk about nowadays. And there is so many things that we need to discuss when it comes to rebuilds and remanufacture parts. It's a problem. Then a lot of people don't see it as a problem because the price difference between new and rebuilt or remanufactured parts is big, and saving money sometimes is very important. But in many cases, having the truck on the road, durability of the part is more important, because it's not worth it sometimes to be spending money replacing the same component day after day after day. So that's the reason why I decided to do this video about that specific topic. And that is something that I've been dealing with. And you know what? I was like, let's talk about that. I know that a lot of people might find it interesting. I'm sorry, and that would be something that might be helpful. And as always, if you guys have any questions and anything else to add to this video, you can use the chat section. You are more than welcome to use it. As we see now, we have a couple messages already from Cesar Vargas, Jefe with a crown, ¿cómo estamos? ADPs, Best Mechanic, ADPs, great topic. Yes, exactly, great topic. Joshua Hernández, saludos desde Oklahoma, right? Ánimo, a la orden, aquí andamos. And yes, that's good. Thank you for the support. Muchas gracias por el apoyo. Aquí andamos siempre tratando de hacer videos poquitos aquí de vez en cuando. Muy ocupado de vez en cuando, no tengo tiempo a veces para hacer ciertas cosas que quiero, pero aquí estamos. Por eso estoy a esta hora haciendo videos ya tardes en los sábados, porque estoy con mucho trabajo de vez en cuando y a veces no tengo tiempo para hacer estas cosas, pero el tiempo es solo la importancia que tenemos para hacer algo, ¿verdad? Qué tan importante es algo. Entonces, mientras sea importante, lo vamos a hacer. And Joshua Hernandez, okay, Crown number 3 says, how's business ready for the 27th Freilander, 2027 Freilanders? Business is good. Is as good as can be. We're busy. We have things to do all the time. There's always warranties, just like any other repair shop. Repairs, warranties, problems, unsolved problems, mysteries, right? And I think that's like any other shop, I suppose. And the 2026, I think I'll just be referring to the 2021s mainly because that's the big difference. 2021 to 2022s, all the way to 2026, still kind of the same. There's some updates here and there, but it's not as different. Those are pretty hard to repair, especially emissions. Those are very, very stupid, I would say, when it comes to emissions. And they require a lot of patience to repair one thing, and then computer electronics are just a massive amount of electronics. Even the DDL software takes a while to load so many components that they've been adding to these trucks, and it's something that I'm not ready to see, because I don't understand how manufacturers are like bringing new trucks, brand new technology, when the older trucks still having problems, right? They haven't figured out how to keep these trucks in good motion, in harmony with themselves, and all of a sudden they have a new model because this is the update, but the update is not like a better version of the old one. No, it's a completely new system and everything, which means then new problems. Like it's just something that I don't understand. ADPs, okay. How long are warranties on parts? Typically, uh, 1 year, depending on manufacturers. Most manufacturers 1 year, and sometimes they might do 2 years if you buy specific components. Sometimes you have to buy the kits, right? For example, like Eaton clutches, they do 2 years warranties if you buy the input shaft, transmission input shaft kit with the clutch and the actuator completely, and that will give you 2 years warranty. Um, but I mean, if you just buy the clutch, it's just gonna give you one year warranty. So, but that's the only way. But regardless of the manufacturer, aftermarket or OEM or most, and also local manufacturer, most of them give 1 year. And there is some manufacturers that gonna give 6 months, but it's very rare. And mostly electronics don't have any warranty. It's very rare to see what they call manufacturers or factories that are giving you warranty on electronics, because electronics are pretty delicate, and especially if you open the box. If the box is sealed, you can just return it, but if you open it already, you cannot even return it. Okay, I gotta stop asking questions. I mean, answering questions, because I want to talk about the video. Okay, so eventually we'll stop. Okay, but I want to go to these other two questions, and I have DB says, what's the average labor rate to swap MBE for 1,000 engine for a Detroit diesel Series 60 engines? I mean, like, that depends on the. I'll be honest. That depends on who or where you're going to do that, right? Labor rate. Let's say the average cost to replace an engine. An engine. We can say. Just to swap an engine, right? You have a Series 60s, right? And you just need to swap the engine for another engine that's just the same. The average cost of that is gonna cost somewhere around $6,000, $7,000. The MBE engine is a smaller engine than the Series 60, so most likely the engine, the frame has to be modified in order to fit the Series 60. Since it is a Detroit or I mean, Century class, Cascadia, or anything like that, they still can be comparable, but it's not going to be a straightforward replacement. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I can just go high and say maybe somewhere around $10,000. I mean, and the rate, well, I mean, it depends on the shop, because some shops are going to charge 100, 120, $200 per hour. So that's gonna vary. So that's a very specific question depending on where you're gonna do that. I don't usually do swaps like that because that's not very common to see people around here. People don't ask those kind of jobs. But we have done it. I have done it. Caterpillars to Detroit, Detroit to Caterpillars, depending on the request of the client in the past. But so far, in this modern time, people hasn't asked it to me here. So let's say Mr. Arcanelix pregunta. En mi camión sale humo, pero sin presión por donde se deposita el aceite. Es de poner atención a este síntoma. Gracias por sus videos. ¿Qué motor tiene? La pregunta es ¿qué motor es? Esa es la pregunta, Mr. Arcanaels. ¿Qué motor tiene ese? Nomás diga el motor y posiblemente ahí puedo tener. Un Cummins, ok, un ISX supongo, un X15. Um, sí es normal que salga presión en los Cummins, completamente normal. Dado de que los motores Cummins no tienen un separador de aceite, solo tienen un filtro convencional que es el que hace pasar la presión hacia afuera. O sea, es normal que cuando quiten la tapa del aceite va a salir cierta cantidad de vapor por por la tapa, el depósito del aceite. Pero la pregunta sería cuánta presión sale, ¿verdad? Porque ahí cambiaría si hay problema o no. Si solo sale una cantidad de vapor que solo se ve saliendo como que fuera un café humeando, eh, es completamente normal. O sea, por ahí puede ser un poquito más, un poquito con presión y ahí. Pero si sale con mucha presión, que sale constante, con mucha fuerza, y si ponen la mano, ustedes sienten empuje, entonces posiblemente haya un problema. Generalmente eso puede ser problema con los anillos, cosas así, pero se tiene que diagnosticar de esa manera para poderlo ver. Es normal que haya humo, que salga vapor por ahí, es completamente normal, pero la cantidad que salga, eso es lo que hay que ver. Así que es algo que usted tiene que hacer para determinarlo, pero si no es así de grave, pues si no sale mucho en mucha cantidad, posiblemente no tenga ningún problema. Okay, let's get to the video. Okay, rebuild parts from manufactured parts. The problems with these parts, and the major problem with these parts sometimes it is not then the parts are bad. It is sometimes then you have the only option, right? That's the only option. Sometimes nowadays I have seen day by day manufacturers, if you go straight to the dealer, right, brand new, to the OEM dealer, Freightliner International, Kenworth, Peterbilt, and they don't have brand new parts; they have remanufactured parts. This is something that is starting to be very common. And remanufactured parts are not the same as rebuilt, to be honest. Remanufactured parts mostly are parts that are being taken for inspection. If they don't meet the criteria, they get, taken down and put new ones in there. So remanufactured parts are usually better than rebuilt. But that doesn't mean that remanufactured parts are better than new. No, always new is better. But of course, if you have the option between rebuild and remanufacture, it's just better to buy remanufacture. The cost of these parts probably could be around the same, depending on the component that you want to buy. Because when it comes to injectors, right, it's not going to be the same. When it comes to fuel pumps, it's not going to be the same, the pricing. Also turbos, right? But this situation mainly is the biggest problem, right? Then sometimes you are going to get a remanufactured part, right? You're going to get a buy from the dealer, but then there is a cheaper part, then it's a rebuild part, and you think it's gonna work, and you bought it, and now you don't have. You have the part, and you have 1 year warranty and everything, but it's not gonna last as long as the manufacturer. Or instead of buying a remanufactured part, you were going to buy a new part, right? A brand new part, because sometimes the dealers have the options of buying new and remanufactured. And I would say if you are in the market to buy parts for your truck, just go straight for new. The cost of the parts, it is just too much, I would say, when it comes to new, because I'll give you a quick example. If you go to the dealer and you want to buy a Cummins X15 injector new from the dealer, that's going to cost you around $1,500. The injector new. That's a lot of money, $1,500, just one injector, and you multiply that times 6, you're spending a lot of money just on replacing injectors. And then you have the option to get remanufactured, right? And the manufacturer cost is going to be somewhere around $1,100. It's going to be $400 cheaper. Of course, people, when they see that difference, they just want to buy remanufactured, because remanufactured is always more appealing to the budget, to the pocket, right? And then you go to rebuild, right? And the rebuild is going to be around like $500, which is half price of whatever the remanufactured component is going to be worth. But of course, right, half of the price, which means half of the duration of the component. It is very rare to see components that are rebuilt in a last long time. And also, it's very rare to see components that are remanufactured to last more than 3 years. Usually, the components that last more than 3 years are OEM components, brand new components. You go to the dealer and buy brand new, you're going to make it last 5 years, right? And of course, these are not the only parts you can buy. Remanufacturers in rebuild and new, right? They're not, because you also have aftermarket parts. Aftermarket parts, new parts, basically aftermarket. This is another branch of repair parts, right? That you can buy. And the aftermarket components sometimes are good, right? They're cheaper than the remanufactured or cheaper than the new. They're more expensive than the rebuild, and they're not used before, like rebuild or remanufactured. Um, and they can last longer than rebuild, maybe not as long as the remanufactured or more than remanufactured. So it can be around that specific number, right? So there is always an option when it comes to buying parts. So it is not just one type of part. The competition for parts is pretty intense nowadays. But the most common parts you can buy are remanufactured and rebuild. In my opinion, just stay away from rebuild parts. I'm sorry, rebuild parts are the worst you can buy. But with that said, I mean, I don't think then all the remanufactured parts are, rebuild parts are bad, because I might think, or I probably don't know, then there are places around the USA, then they have good components, good rebuild components. And it might be the case. The only problem is probably they're too far from the area, or they're not allowed in the state of the city than you are. And that's not going to be worth it, to ship them. But anyway, I mean, mostly when it comes to rebuild parts, that's probably one of the major reasons why the duration or the we can say the how worth it is to buy them, like if you are okay buying the parts, I can say like I think then most of the rebuild places, rebuild manufacturers. Can you hear me now? You guys can hear me now? Okay, I'm sorry about it. I mean, my microphone keeps on dying. If it happens again, let me know, okay? So, all right. Sorry about it. Okay. I was just saying, like, I had a situation where we had a problem with a truck, right? I think I'm just gonna have the charger on this, because I don't want the microphone to keep on dying. I think I can have it connected. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. I don't wanna keep on. I just wanna hold the microphone instead. Okay, I was having the situation with these injectors, and I bought like 6 injectors because the owner of the truck couldn't afford them, right? Brand new, because in this case it was a Detroit engine, around like $1,300 with taxes, brand new. And so he decided to go rebuild. He was saying then he wanted to rebuild. Okay, okay, good. It's like, okay, yes, let's do it. And we went and we bought the rebuild injectors. Okay, we put them on. 1 month later, right, the truck came back. And it came back. Injector number 2 was failing electronically. So, oh no, no, it was not electronic failure. It was a fault code and was saying then the injector is releasing more fuel than whatever it's supposed to. So of course, right, injector is bad. So okay, let's take it out. Let's go take it for warranty. We take it for warranty. They give us a new one, and now we put a new injector, and the truck left. Uh, 10 hours later, the truck broke down on the road because the same injector broke down. I mean, number 2, which was already replaced from a different one than this guy already gave us. Okay, so the truck had to be towed. We installed the new injector. I mean, the new rebuild injector. Then they gave us as a replacement on that one. But in that moment, the people there at the place at the store of this rebuild company, they were saying then the injector had nothing wrong, even though then the truck fell because of the injector. They were claiming that the injector had nothing wrong. Okay, it is what it is. They still gave us a different one. So we installed this new injector on this truck. And after installing this new injector on this truck, the fuel system started to create pressure. So over pressure in the system for no reason. So we took down another, and again, the same injector number 2, took it back for warranty, bring it back. And now we put it back again, and the truck runs fine now, but it's releasing fuel to the DOC, too much fuel, and all of a sudden, when you are doing a regen, right, the filter is just keep on rising the temperature without any type of manipulation. Most likely, the injector is leaking, right? So, uh, see, I did warranty on the same injector around 3 times, and most of the 3 times, I mean, I didn't charge for that because I don't think it's right to charge 3 times for the same thing. I mean, like, I don't think the owner is going to feel happy to be paying 3 times the same amount, right? um so, and that's something then, if the shop is conscious, right, if the shop is okay, they will allow you, they will help you with it, right? They will be like, okay, you know what, I can absorb the cost of the labor, but you have to pay the parts, right? Okay, that's okay. But some shops are not going to do that, right? And especially if you bought the rebuild parts, it's going to be even harder. So I think buying the rebuild parts is not worth it. um, but if you know about a place that sells good quality rebuild parts, and you already you proven then that is good, part after part, of course that would be okay to do it. But as I see it around my area, there is no one that is good. Even though I know a couple guys and are, you know, they might say that they're pretty good, and hopefully they don't hear this video, right? But but they're really bad when it comes to rebuilding the injectors. And it's really hard because whenever I go to the truck shows, right, uh, I see them. I see them there, and I really want to say your injector sucks, right? Your turbo sucks. Your fuel pump sucks. But I feel that is like too direct. I don't want to ruin relationship, right? And that's the reason why I prefer not to say much about it. I can just want to say hi or anything, but I'm not also want to say you guys have the best injectors in the area, because I don't want to lie either, you know. So that is something that is pretty hard, right? And uh, that situation makes me think that I mean, it is pretty hard for me as a mechanic, as a owner of a shop, right, to deal with rebuild parts. And I know I can call them, I can do whatever here, left and right, to make it easier to make the transaction easy. But it's even harder if you, as a conventional customer, as an ex-customer, does it, because they won't care much about you. So you will have to deal with so much just to get the parts. So at the end of the day, I'll be finishing with this six injector story, right? I mean, the whole moral of the story is then the owner of this truck, right, and had the problems with these six injectors. At the end of the day, he changed his mind after spending like 3 4 days at the shop, like doing injector after injector after injector to fix this issue. He changed his mind and he said, "I just want to go to buy a different type of injectors. I don't want to have problems anymore." So I don't know why he didn't decide to do at the beginning, because I really like to be very straightforward, right? If you come to my shop, I tell you straightforward. You know what? You have these options. You have rebuild, you have new, you have aftermarket, you have remanufacture. My recommendation, new all the time, right? If you have me buy the parts, like if you allow me to buy the parts on my own criteria, I'll go straight OEM. Now, if you don't want me to do that, I will ask you, right? Hey, you know what kind of part do you want? I mean, you want OEM, you want a remanufacture, you want a rebuild. But see, this is the situation on this rebuild. It might fail. It has warranty, but it might fail, right? So if you are okay with that, hey, I mean, what I want to do, right? Of course, then when the problems are here, I mean, like it's not like I want to be arguing with the customer and say, "I told you so." Now you have to suck it up, right? No, no, I don't. That's something that probably. I mean, I might say it, and I'll be right to say it, but it's not ethical, right? And I'm like, you know what? Let's do something about it anyway. I mean, like, what I want to do. I mean, like, the customer is not gonna go anywhere if I don't fix the situation. Then they create it to themselves, right? So I am part of that situation because I bought the parts and I installed them. So I mean, I can deal with that. That's no problem. Uh, so as I say, I mean, like now the truck is still here, and now we have to go buy injectors. In this case, someone asked here, Luis Albizo says rebuild or aftermarket. I definitely gonna go aftermarket if you're gonna go uh, cheap. I will say, like, if you wanna save money, right? If you really want to save some money, I will just gonna go aftermarket. I won't go rebuild, definitely. Uh, I think when it comes to rebuild, it's not worth the money. It's only if you know or you have the peace of mind and the place in is rebuilding the components is good. But or you accept the challenges, or also if you're selling the truck, right? If you really just want to make the truck run, I don't care. I mean, you can do whatever, right? You can put whatever component in it as long as it runs. So if it breaks tomorrow, that's not your problem anymore, right? But if you want to keep your truck, you want to keep the truck running in a good condition, just get the right component. I mean, or either get the aftermarket new, or either get remanufacture, I will say, or get a new one. I mean, like those three components are going to be stay away from the remanufacture. I mean, to the rebuild. I think versus the remanufacture versus the rebuild. I mean, the remanufacture versus the aftermarket new. I'm probably going to stick to the aftermarket new. Depends on the situation. Depends on the component as well, right? Because or it varies depending on the component you need to select. That's how the option is going to be the best option you can have, because of the money versus the durability of the repair, uh, and also that will depend on how you want to use the truck, right? In what circumstances you want to use it. But I'm saying to you, if I think then if you really want uh, uh, to keep your truck running with no problems, buy new parts. Just straight up OEM parts. Don't go aftermarket. Don't go rebuild. Don't go remanufacture. Brand new, right? Now, as someone say, Latuya right now says, which is Latuya, right? Yeah, says remanufacturer new. I mean, and you're thinking about the cost, right? Of course, right? Remanufacture is going to be cheaper, new is going to be more expensive, and you don't have the money. Of course, both options are going to be okay, but depending on your budget, that is the best option you are going to select, right? Of course, if you have the money to buy new, go for it, right? Because I will recommend that 100%. If you don't have the budget to go new, go remanufacture. If you don't have the budget to go remanufacture, go aftermarket because it's going to be probably cheaper, or vice versa. You know how that is. And the last option will be rebuild, but stay away if you can. You know, like if you have no options, I mean, like well, I mean, it is what it is, right? But there's so many things, and you might be encountering with that. So I think that's just the way I see it. I don't know if you guys agree with what I'm saying. I don't like with it to deal with problems. I don't like to to be called in the middle of the night after a repair. You know, like hey, you know what I and I a better way to explain. I mean, a better way to say if you want to save money is then if you are thinking on buying rebuild parts for your trucks, I will highly recommend used parts. I will think that used parts just better than rebuild parts. Um, and I'm telling you, I had less problems putting used parts on a truck than putting rebuild parts. And that counts with so many things, right? Computers, DPF filters, injectors, fuel pumps, throttle bodies, water pumps, stuff like that. I mean, like there is so many things that can you can buy rebuilt, and I'm telling you, you might be okay if you buy used, and it still is going to be almost the same price of rebuild, or maybe cheaper than rebuild, and you are going to have better warranty than going rebuild. Uh, so that could be another option. That's something that I forgot a little about used parts. Let's say I'm gonna see some of the comments right here. Uh, León Sosano says, me mandó $2. Gracias, gracias por el dinero. Uy, a Luis Alviso ya, que el sonido se fue. Ese Luis Aviso, yeah, ok. Usando el mejor, muchas gracias. Y $10 también, muchas gracias. Says DB says, great answer. Aftermarket is the economical way to go. Yes, I think that's if you have the money, I think, or use, I think it would be the best. Luis Aviso says, remanufacture injectors from the dealer is okay. Reman injectors from the local guy, 50% chance it might or might not work. Exactly. That's a great way to see it. Uh, there is no a 100% chance, and the local guy is going to have the same quality control than a dealer oriented remanufactured place facility is going to have. Um, and I don't know. This when I was working back in 2011, 2012. I remember then a lot of these guys that were remanufacturing components locally, right? Rebuilding components locally. They were coming to the shops here when I was working then, and they always were saying, "Oh, I rebuild the components for the dealer," and that's I don't know why they say that. I mean, like I don't know why they say they rebuild the components for the dealer, and they don't. The dealer doesn't allow any single fool, right? Any single like me. I mean, like a random video maker, right? And this has some followers just because I have people to follow me. I mean, like they wanna trust something to me. No, that doesn't work like that. I mean, like these are contracts, right? Dealers and corporations, they work under contracts, and they are not going to have a contract with a guy like me. I mean, they are not, because they are going to have contracts with another corporation, another facility that is as big as them, because they can provide the service they want. Because dealer demands are huge. Dealer demands are not just like the demands we have. I mean, like I want to request uh, maybe like maybe like 4 or 5 injectors every month, and do warranties on five injectors every month. No, dealers are going to have like thousands of injectors every month to be serviced, to be rebuilt, to be shipped and ship out. That doesn't work like that. And we, like a place like me, it's not gonna have that ability to maintain that supply, that demand. It is too large for a small repair shop or a small rebuild facility. It's not gonna happen. You need so many employees for that. So and that's not gonna be fun. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend just in personal, right? So I mean, like I don't know if there is there's more explanation to do about the remanufacture, rebuild, new use aftermarket. But in my opinion, we are going to buy aftermarket. Like for the truck thing is having problems here because the owner of the truck doesn't have the money to buy brand new. But with the money he already spent on these injectors he bought, and now with the money he's going to spend on these new injectors, and he's going to buy aftermarket. In this case, who I'm going to buy then Bosch brand, which is the OEM brand for the dealer, but they're not the same. Just because they're Bosch doesn't mean that they're uh, Bosch OEM, because manufacturers are different. I mean, okay, the regular Bosch is not the OEM injector. It is just the aftermarket version of that injector, which means then it's cheaper. That's the reason why it's cheaper. That could be then some of the components are less reliable than the OEM, right? And the OEM, of course, is going to be the OEM, because the OEM is going to be factory spec. Okay, a specific component has to be made of this component and this toleration, this large on this and that is going to be something then the manufacturer of this specific component is going to follow exactly as it is. And when it comes to aftermarket, they might bend the rule here and there, right, to save some money. And that's the reason why aftermarket is cheaper, right? And that's the reason why aftermarket is always less reliable than the OEM, right? But of course, like with that said, that doesn't mean that the aftermarket is bad. Just mean that it's not as precise as the OEM. That's the reason why sometimes when you buy aftermarket components, in some cases, let's say you bought a brand new intake manifold from the dealer, right? And the intake manifold from the dealer fits exactly as it is, because the manufacturer makes this intake manifold as specified. Every single hole, every single millimeter, it is measured with precision. Now, if you go and buy an aftermarket intake manifold, you might have the issue that you might have to drill a leader maybe in one of the orifices because one of the bolts is not going to align properly. Uh, and that is because they are bending the rules a little, right? Okay, we are going to leave this one here is good enough, close enough. It's not the way it's supposed to be. But I mean, with that, we're going to say maybe $100, $200 per item. So we're going to make more money on the sale. So, and that's the difference, than you and I have when it comes to the aftermarket and the new, right? And that's the reason why sometimes, like if you go aftermarket, I mean, like you might have issues, right? But going new is always the best. But use, I think, is going to be the best shot you have, because use is basically the same OEM, but with some mileage on. And it might work. We have done that a couple of times with some customers that don't have the money to repair the truck. So we either had to use fuel pumps or use injectors and the truck's still running fine, with no problems. I don't know for how long they're gonna run, but they're okay. One thing I'll tell you, then there are some components then you can install, rebuild, or install or use, right? Some components only, then you cannot. Like fuel pumps, it's better to put in new. I will say new all the time. Don't put rebuild fuel pumps. I think it's not worth it. It's too much labor to put on, and and it's just better, right, to get a new. Oil pumps, don't get aftermarket oil pumps. Don't put use oil pumps. Just if you wanna reuse your oil pump is fine. The oil pump that once installed in the truck and you wanna do a repair and everything, that's fine. But if you wanna buy a used fuel oil pump from a different place and you wanna put it on, no, don't do that. Just don't take the chances. Just go buy OEM instead. Don't buy remanufactured, buy a brand new. Don't buy aftermarket, buy a brand new. Water pumps, specifically the electronic water pumps, or the viscous water pumps, the one that have the little like aluminum plate in the front. Those water pumps new. Those just installing new. I had so many problems with those water pumps aftermarket, and also used, right. And rebuilds, well, don't even get close to that. Just buy the new. Those water pumps, just go straight to the dealer, buy the new, and you wanna have no problems with it. Um, Mainly the issue with those is then the electronic section fails a lot, and you're gonna have issues, and these issues are going to be expensive, because not only might be the case in the truck's gonna break down the road. No, I mean, like, that could be probably one of the major issues, but you will have to pay again for the same component you just bought, so it's gonna cost you double to replace this component. So it's not worth it. I mean, like, it's not something that it's necessary to do, to be honest. Um, let's say another component that is not it's better to buy new. Um, well, I would say cylinder heads, right? Cylinder heads is better to buy new. They're too expensive. Um, yeah, I was going to think about that too, Luis Albiso, about the aftermarket, and I'll get to it right now. Uh, eh, Cylinder heads, you can get them rebuilt, and sometimes they work fine. They be okay sometimes, depending on the place you get them. Um, you can get them aftermarket, which is okay. They work fine as well. You can get them rebuilt from the dealer, which is the middle option, but they're expensive, $5,000 for Detroit, and over $5,000 for Cummins. And then if you want to go new, it's like over $10,000, whatever brand you want. You want to buy it from. It's just a lot of money. $10,000 for a cylinder head. It's not worth it, I would say, sometimes, because just the cylinder head is worth more than whatever the overhaul kit is worth. So uh, you're talking about if you buy the overhaul kit for $6,000, $7,000, and the cylinder head for 10,000, you already have $17,000, and that doesn't include like small items like oil, coolant, and all that, and the labor. So talking about the simple overhaul kit is gonna cost you. I mean, a single overhaul repair it's gonna cost you somewhere around like $25,000 to $30,000. It's not. It's not something that people can afford that easy, right? In that case, I mean, okay, that's when people will bend the rules, right? Okay, I want to get aftermarket here, I get aftermarket there, because the price difference between one component and another is just so large, and that's when you can do that. And when it comes to the uh, overhaul kits, um, well, I mean, that's a very hard question. I mean, when it comes to aftermarketing or OEM rebuild kits, right? Um, Aftermarket kits could be reliable, but it's just some chances you can take. Aftermarket kits are known to be okay, a good price, affordable, and everything, but that doesn't mean that they're going to last as long as you think they're going to last. Especially when aftermarket kits are just as expensive as OEM nowadays. The situation was in the past, I remember, then you can buy an aftermarket kit for $2,500, right? that was less than half of the cost than you needed to spend for an OEM overhaul kit. Like, let's say, for example, a Detroit Series 60s, which was the time then I remember. So overhaul kits for those were around $6,000, and you can buy a Mac B overhaul kit for the Series 60 for $2,000. That was a great deal, right? So why? I mean, there's no reason why you are not going to consider to take chances on that if you only want to spend $2,000 in the overhaul kit. Uh, that I think that was the reason why overhaul kits were, I mean, aftermarket overhaul kits were um, very popular, because the price difference versus the dealer was so large. But now the things is that everything has changed. So I can go to a dealer and buy a Detroit Series 60, I mean Detroit DD15 overhaul kit, a basic overhaul kit around like $6,000, $7,000, depending on the components I buy, maybe more, maybe less. So everything depends on the specific component you buy. Um, so and if I go aftermarket, right? If I go to, let's say, PIA, ESCO, or MacB, right, for a DD15, I'll be paying around $4,500 for the same overhaul kit, which is just like what, like $1,000, $2,000 different depending on the specific components you buy. I think for $2,000 difference, I think it's not actually worth it to buy aftermarket, uh, especially when you are losing the reliability of a brand new component or a OEM component. Uh, and that, I think that's the reason why aftermarket components are kind of like not keeping up with OEM nowadays, because the price difference isn't that large anymore. The cost of doing an aftermarket component is just as expensive as doing a OEM component, and that's no competition at all, because if you want to buy aftermarket, let's say, for example, like we can buy a aftermarket cylinder head for a D15 or for a Cummins ISX or X15 for around like 2,000, $3,000, depending specifically the casting of the cylinder head. And in the review one is going to cost you around $5,000. So it's almost half the price. So you still can think about it, like if you really want to do it. But if you compare it to the new one, right, brand new one for the dealer, it's gonna cost you $10,000 new, and you can buy a brand new aftermarket for 2,500. Yeah, that's a big difference. Of course, if you wanna save money, the aftermarket is going to be the best option. Um, and that's the major points to consider if the price difference is so large. But as I say, I mean, like some components don't have that ability to be so separated between prices, and that's the reason why sometimes it's just better to go OEM or new, right? Um, and of course, rebuild is always going to be cheaper. Rebuild components are always going to be cheaper. So, uh, eh, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people goes to rebuild. Yes, somewhere. But at the end of the day, I mean, like. I'm just saying whatever I think, whatever I my experience I have about these trucks and all the situation that I've been dealing with here at the shop. At the end of the day, it is up to you to decide what you are going to buy. You either buy aftermarket, you either buy OEM, use, remanufacture, rebuild, or whatever else could be in the market. Um, that will be up to you, depending on your circumstances, depending on your budget, depending on the situation uh, you are facing at the moment, and that will uh, really be what it's going to set what you can do to repair your truck. um, just remember that sometimes when you buy specific components, you might have to deal with problems in the future. Uh, and that's something that you need to understand very well. And if that's the case, hopefully you don't have problems on the road, because if you do have problems on the road, it's going to be really bad. Now you have to tow the truck, and we spend time at the shop fixing the situation. I mean, fixing the problem. Um, and that is the whole uh, the whole problem. I mean, like the whole situation there. So that's the reason why, like, it's just better to buy the new, because the money you want to spend if something breaks on the road, it's the same money you want to spend if you buy the component straight OEM, and that's the best option you can have. Um, of course, like, if there is another situation when it comes to buying components, and that is like the quality of the labor. If the labor is bad, right? If the mechanic that is installing the parts is bad, it's not going to be reliable regardless, right? Regardless of the component and you buy it. Could be new, rebuilt. If you don't do the right job to install it, you might break it or something. I mean, like, it's gonna, be worthless, to buy whatever component you or use. And that's something that sometimes I deal here at the shop. I mean, sometimes my mechanics here do problems like that, like they install a component and they didn't pay attention and they break it, and or they don't install it properly, the truck leave, and eventually when it comes back, the component is damaged, right? So, and that's another point when it comes to reliability with components. Uh, so that's kind of frustrating sometimes, but it is what it is, right? You cannot control everything. Sometimes it is my mistake. Sometimes when it comes to physical labor, because I don't pay attention to whatever everything. I mean, whatever else things. Whenever something has been done, and I need to go inspect it and everything, and sometimes I don't because I am so carried away with stuff left and right, like doing knowing what we need to do in the next truck and the next truck and the next truck. And by the time I go and check the client's here, and I don't have time to go check it out, and we get into a conversation and everything, and boom, boom, and I forget about it, and boom, the truck leaves, and there's a problem. So sometimes it's better to spend that extra minute inspecting the truck to see that everything is good, having it running, doing a regen sometimes on trucks, so especially if there is any engine job or any major repair to the engine, doing regen sometimes works. Test driving the trucks, if you cannot test drive it yourself, just send someone else, like maybe a friend or a truck driver that is just sitting there waiting for a truck, and you know what, just take the truck for a spin or something. And that way, there is always uh, a way to keep these trucks in a good condition, maintaining these problems, away from you, because everything at the end of the day is money, right? And just sadly, as the person in charge, you have to pay it. So, uh, well, I think it's pretty clear when it comes to rebuild, remand components. Uh, uh, Stay away from rebuild if you can't, right? If you cannot, I mean, I understand why people does it. I understand why people buy rebuild. Um, if you don't have the money, I mean, like, just buy it used if you can. But if you cannot even do that, well, I mean, or you want to take your chances with used, because when you buy used, the only problem is you don't have warranty. When you buy used components, warranties expire as soon as you buy something. So if you bought something and before you pay it is broken, that's your warranty. Okay, this one is broken. Okay, hey, you know what? This one is broken. You can give me a different one. Okay, that's it. But if you already paid and it's broken, uh, that's it. You lost your money. So that's the problem with the used components. Then it require better inspection from the get go. So as soon as you buy it, you need to inspect it pretty well. If not, you are wasting your money. In rebuild, I think that's the reason why rebuild is just a little better, because rebuild is just, some quote quality part, this quality part, right? But it's not quality part, but it has warranty, and that's the only reason why people sometimes go to those, because when I spend less money, I still have warranty in case it breaks, and sometimes not as it is, right? Or as easy as they say. Then, oh yeah, just come over here. If an injector breaks, I give you a different one. Nah, they don't do it like that. They are going to give you a hard time. They're going to tell you that, oh no, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I'm going to tell you one time. Then one time we went to this place right here, Fontana, in a turbocharger broke down. Turbocharger started to leak oil. That's okay. I mean, turbo was bad. Started to leak oil. So before the turbocharger installation, the owner also asked us to replace the crankcase filter. That was a Cummins engine. The crankcase filter was replaced, and okay, that's good. So that's one of the major issues why turbochargers go bad, because of the crankcase filter on Cummins X15s or ISX. So so we went to this place, and we took the turbo because of cover it was leaking and still was covered under warranty. Uh, and when we got there, this uh, the guy then was helping us, right? When inspected the turbo and everything, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I want to give you a new turbo. Okay, okay, that's good. But I want to tell you then the reason why the turbo broke is not because the turbo is bad; it's because the air filter is clogged." And I was like, "What do you mean the air filter is clogged? I mean, the air filter is not going to destroy your turbo. The air filter is going to stop your turbo from spinning. Yeah, it's going to cause low power. Yes, but it's not going to blow your turbo, right? Uh, I would believe it. Like the crankcase filter, yes, might blow your turbo. Yes, that's true, but not your air filter. So even though they know their parts are bad, right? And they know, and that might be the reason why their things are blowing left and right, right? They still going to blame something else. They still going to blame the mechanic. They still going to blame the truck. They still going to blame anything else. Then it might be the reason why this broke, but not their component. So I don't understand why they do that. I don't understand, and that's the reason why I say, I mean, like, for us mechanics, then we deal with this almost every day. It's pretty hard sometimes. We need to like talk to them and try to get a negotiation to be able to get the components, as the warranty of the component. And if you are just a regular person, a walking customer, then they don't even know who you are. All of a sudden, you appear and say, "Hey, you know what? I want this," and the next day you come back with the injector, with the turbo and everything, and it's already broken. They are not going to believe you. They are not going to be friendly. They're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, let me give you another one immediately." No, they're not, because their job is to sell. Their job is not to give warranties. So the more they sell, the more profit they make. So when it comes to warranties, I was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, let me see," and you have to argue with them to get to a point in order to get the warranty you want. But if you just go there and you stay quiet and you don't say anything, they are not going to help you. I don't know why they're like that. I think that doesn't supposed to be like that. I think when it comes to places like uh, rebuild components, right, they gotta be a little more friendly since people know that this component sucks, right? These components are bad. At least they're gonna give the peace of mind to people. Then we are not going to make it hard for you. I mean, if this breaks, just come over and well, we'll give you a new one, and that's it. Regardless if it's your fault or not, right? Regardless if the component is good or not, we are going to give you another one, because we might not have the quality components, but we have the quality service, and I think that will be okay, right? I think that will be fine, and that's a very important part. I mean, like, if you have quality service and good quality components, of course you're gonna sell left and right. But if you have bad components and bad service, I mean, no one wants to go to your place. And I think that's a mistake that I've been doing. I mean, like when it comes to buying rebuild parts, and as I say, I mean, the only reason why I'm doing it is because customers ask for it, and I don't know why I decide. But I mean, like I know why. I mean, like it's just because I just think then it's gonna work. I mean, and they don't have the money, right? But I mean, man, I mean, these rebuild components are so bad. I mean, like, I don't understand why they're so bad. I mean, like, and I don't understand why they can go to the truck shows like and say, you know what, we have the best components in the area, and meanwhile they have like 100 injections for warranty. I mean, like, that's not that's not nice, I would say. But it's pretty hard to make them understand that, right? That's not something that I will be uh, uh pushing someone to do. I mean, like, it's up to them. I mean, it's their business. I mean, for me, I mean, like, I just want to walk away. I mean, like, I want to buy as little as I can, and the only reason why I want to buy is because customers ask for it. And the and the and that's after I've been telling them, then that's not the best option. But if they still, you know, like insisting, then they want to do that. Hey, I mean, like, what I want to do? I mean, like, the customer is always right sometimes, right? And even though I am telling you, I'm telling them the best way on how to solve the problem. Hey, I mean, like, sometimes it's pretty hard to deal with people because they don't understand the consequences of the problem, and at the end of the day, they just want to call and, you know, tell me about the situation. Then something bad with the truck. But anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about. I mean, on in this topic, aftermarket. I mean, review, remands. It is just something. Then, if you can stay away, just stay away from that. I said it many times already. Um, eh, I think it's not worth it. Um, if you if you are financially stable, you can absorb some of the cost of these warranties and everything if you have a shop. But if you are starting a shop and you are doing all these rebuild components, this is not going to be good because you're going to be working in the same component left and right again and again and again, and the profit is not going to be there because customers don't like to pay more than once, you know, when it comes to warranties. um and um and that's how it is. I mean, like, and it's understandable. I mean, like, it's understandable. I mean, like, if you have warranty, I mean, like, why should you pay? I mean, like, unless it's reading on paper, yeah, of course. But a lot of people doesn't do that, and sadly, that's what it is, right? But well, I hope then you find this video interesting. I don't know if I explain say everything I said the best way possible, but it's not. We are, if not, we're gonna do a different video next month. You can join me, and we can talk about different topics. We can discuss different things. You can have questions. You can, you know, like help me to understand some things. Sometimes you have the answer to some things, and I don't know. So that's something that we can do next live video. So this is all for now, and I really appreciate your assistance on this video. And thank you for watching. I'm sorry for the microphone that kind of like broke down in the middle. Um, Battery is running low. That's typical, I suppose. This battery component sometimes they die, so probably needs to be replaced. But here I am. So thank you for your patience, and hope you like the videos, and stay tuned for more videos I'll be posting here and there. So thank you for watching, and see you next month. Um, yeah, next month. That will be August. Yeah. All right. See you later.